I just noticed a little rustling around up on the hillside there, and there is actually a buck that has not dropped his antlers yet. And now he's coming down the hillside here. I'm going to see if he maybe, see how far down into the woodyard he comes. That's kind of strange. I would think by now, today is April 1st, and that buck still has both his antlers. And no, this is not an April Fool's. But yeah, April 1st, and one of the bucks, 2 antlers still on his head. So anyway, today is one of those days where I have a few things to do, and they all need to get done before the rain and possibly the snow get here in the next, I don't know, like 15 or 20 minutes. So I've got Amanda coming out to help me. I'll explain what those things are. Actually, I'll just show you. So one of the things I needed to get done, over in the one part of the woodyard, I have one smaller stack of ash that's left, and I need to fill the roadside stand. I'm going to put that little stack of ash into the roadside stand. I got 2 bins that are empty, and I need to make a couple bundles. But the reason I want to get that little stack cleaned up, what's left of it, is underneath that stack there is a steel grate that I got from my cousin Slick Willie. I'm not sure where he got them from, but he gave them to me like a year ago, and they work great. Actually, more than a year ago. But they work great for stacking wood on top of. They're metal, they're coated with like rubber. And so this little stack of wood, it's almost gone. I don't think there's quite a full tote left over there, but hopefully there's enough to fill the 2 bins in the roadside stand, make a few bundles, and then clean up that stack and have that little grate available to stack some more wood on. The other thing I need to do is I need to top off a stack over in my little wood shelter that I moved over there on the edge of the woodyard. But the thing is, topping off this stack is a little higher than I can reach. So once again, luckily I've got Amanda out here to give me a hand. Now the last thing I need to get done here quick today is I need to unload a tote of wood onto the pile where I'm going to be storing it for the next year or however long. This is wood that is for my personal burning use. And when it comes to storing firewood in IBC totes, or what I use IBC totes for, a lot of times I get asked all kinds of questions, why I don't just run the wood, you know, off of the conveyor here of the Easton Made 37D. Why don't I just run that wood into the IBC totes and then just set the totes somewhere and let them sit and season? And number one, I don't have that many totes. And number two, I like to use the totes to just move wood around. And so I might use it to, like we did earlier, pick up some wood off of a stack to take to the roadside stand. I might run some of the wood into an IBC tote to take over to stack, like we did as well. And then the other thing is, the wood that comes off the conveyor, because I don't have any grizzly bars or anything to kind of sort out the slash, I like to have my wood kind of clean when it goes into the pile. And the last reason is that the splits coming off the Easton Made, like into this pile here behind me, and I'll show you in a second, there's different sizes. So there's smaller splits that I like to pull out and set those aside to use for bundles and the roadside stand and to sell. And then there's bigger splits that I like to keep for my personal use. So even if I were to run this wood off of the conveyor right into a tote, I would still need to separate out those 3 things. I need to separate the big pieces that I want to keep, the smaller pieces that I want to sell, and then all the slash. And so for me, it just works easier to run it into a pile and then off the pile, pull out the one size piece that I want to sell take to the stack. The one size piece that I want to keep for myself, take that to the pile. And then all the slash and the trash is left behind. And I can just scoop that up and deal with that, either pulling out the bigger stuff for kindling or stuff to burn in the fire pit, or just putting it in the ditch for fill. So that's how I move wood around with the IBC totes. And like I mentioned, I like to put the wood on the pile and have it kind of clean, so you can see like all this debris, this like these crumbs and everything in here. Like, to me, when this stuff is in your pile, that's the stuff that will soak up and hold moisture. And I don't know, I just think it makes your wood a mess when you come to either sell it or to use it. So like, this is why, like this piece of wood here, I want to keep all of that stuff right there out of my pile. And so what I'll do is I will just, you know, I'll pick the bigger pieces out and I'll throw them in a tote here. Once this tote is full, I'll take it over and put it on the pile where I'm storing my personal burning use. And then some of these smaller pieces, like this piece right here, I'll pull that out or separate that out, and I'll take that stuff and stack it to where I have the bundle wood and the wood that I am going to sell. So the last thing to do this afternoon was to get the tote that was full of wood from this pile by the carport over to the other pile and tossed up on it. Oh, you didn't think I was gonna take the wood out of the tote and throw it onto the pile manually, did you? Oh no. My shoulders have been getting too much of a workout pulling all these levers. I can't be throwing wood up onto a pile. You may not be able to hear it, but the rain, which has kind of been on and off all afternoon here, is starting to pick up. It's coming down on the carport, and luckily we have accomplished all of the tasks that we needed to for this afternoon. Now I know what you're thinking. All of this moving around of the wood and pulling it off one pile, putting it in a tote, taking it out of the tote, putting it on another pile, all of this is like extra unnecessary touching of the firewood. But for me, I would rather have a nice clean pile of firewood than all that slash mixed in. And I have different uses for my firewood. Like, I'm not just strictly selling, I'm also burning for personal use. So to me, it makes more sense, and it's a better use of my time to take the time to separate out the bigger pieces that I want to keep, the smaller pieces that I want to sell, and to leave behind all of that slash and crumbs and debris that, again, in my opinion, I think having that stuff in your piles just adds to the mess. And that is why a lot of people, if they are running into a pile that they're going to just strictly sell off of, or running into IBC totes that they are just going to strictly take that tote and sell, that is why a lot of times they'll have grizzly bars or some type of way to sort out and keep that slash and trash and debris from going into their tote or their bag or whatever. So we are all done with everything in the woodyard here, and I looked at the radar just a little bit ago, and there's actually a line of snow just to the south of us that's slowly moving north. So I'm not sure if we're going to get more snow tonight or not. I really don't hope so, but we shall see. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Stay safe, have fun, and be cool.